Hey, I'm Nicole, and I am 3 weeks post-op from my septoplasty and turbinate reduction. I hope I'm saying that right. I've never said it out loud. I just wanted to share my experiences because when I had it done, I thought I did some research. I didn't do enough. I wish I knew more. And especially after I had it done, I was like frantically Googling things, trying to understand if what was happening to me was normal, et cetera, et cetera. So I wanted to share those things and then also some tips that I might give to you if you're going through this or if you're in the midst of it. So maybe a couple of days in. I should say though, if you are in it or you're considering it, for me, it was so worth it. It's amazing to be able to breathe. I didn't even know this is how people lived. It's incredible. Um, you know, you just take this stuff for granted sometimes. So the reasons that I love it, I can, when I'm eating, I don't feel like I have to quickly chew and swallow before I can gasp for another breath. I can just like enjoy things and breathe through my nose. If I'm going for a walk, it's so much more enjoyable. Like in the beginning, I couldn't even handle how much airflow I had coming through. Sleeping, you can sleep with your mouth shut. And I'm actually dreaming now. I am actually chalking it up to the fact that maybe for the first time in a long time, I'm getting a deep REM sleep. So that's pretty cool. One that I didn't even expect or think about until it happened was when you kiss someone, you don't feel like you're kind of suffocating a little bit. So that's kind of a nice additional bonus. There's so many. You're going to love it. You can even see my nostrils are really balanced and equal. Before the surgery, this one was collapsed a little bit. So it just shows how well it's working. One thing that I think that a lot of people are curious about is if my nose changed. It didn't at all. It's exactly the same before and after, maybe the slightest difference, but you couldn't tell. I know some people get a rhinoplasty at the same time. So if that's you, go for it. That's not something that I did, and I can't speak to the experience with the rhinoplasty. So I'm going to talk through my entire journey. And if you have questions, feel free to pop them in the comment section, like always. All right. So I get to the hospital on the day of the surgery. I'm excited and don't really know what to expect. I wasn't nervous about the surgery part, but I know some people are. So I'll talk about what that's like too. So first thing, they do an intake. You fill out a couple forms. You're waiting. Then you start to maybe get a little bit nervous because you're waiting. Then for me, I talked to the anesthesiologist. He asked me questions about allergies and things like that. No big deal. Next thing you know, you are in a gown. You've got the little hat on and you're in the operating room. And the operating room isn't, for me anyways, and from a different surgery I had to have, isn't what you think it is based on like a Grey's Anatomy. It's not as like scary and weird and sterile. It wasn't anyways for me. The people in there are really welcoming. They get you on a table, you move over and you have your arms out and they start connecting you to things that are going to monitor your heart rate throughout the surgery. They kind of explain what's going to happen. For me, my surgeon came in and he just kind of, I think it was just a kindness to set me at ease. Then they'll hook you up to some anesthesia. And next thing you know, you're getting the mask on, you're breathing, and you're out. No big deal. So next thing you know, you're in the waiting room or I guess like the post-op waiting room. And I had a nurse in there talking to me, and all of a sudden I remember the pain just coming on. Like it was so intense. And I know everyone's is different, and I'm only sharing this because I didn't expect this to happen. So I remember asking them, like, is my nose like broken? Like, what is going on? Like, I couldn't see anything. I felt really weird. And so they give me a bit of like IV pain meds, which helped. So then they move you into a different section and they're monitoring you to make sure that you're okay to leave. So again, the pain came back and they gave me something to help. So my tip here before I get into anything else, like when you leave the hospital, you feel woozy. I did anyways, and not I didn't feel great. The ride home was pretty yucky. I was nauseous, but I'm like, you know what, this is gonna pass, and it did. But what I wish I would have done, and I didn't know this, is I wish that I would have had my prescription for my pain medication filled before I had the surgery, because I was sitting in the car with my nose packed. insanely swollen from the packing. I was in a lot of pain and I had to sit there while they filled the prescription, get home, and then it takes some time to kick in. I'm not a big pain meds person, period. Like I don't even really take anything for a headache. But in this case, I knew, why put yourself through the misery? I did it. And so it took a while to get back in control of the pain. Had I not had to do all of that waiting, I probably could have been ahead of it to avoid some of that. So that's one thing that I would recommend. The second is before you even get home from the hospital, have someone or buy your own popsicles. And I had a silicone like bendy straw because the tube in your throat, the way they intubate you and just the nature of like having to breathe through your nose, I had the sorest throat. I felt like I had the worst strep throat of my life. And until the pain meds kicked in. And then the other piece is I couldn't talk. And I was afraid that something had happened to my larynx or, my ability to speak was hindered. And that's just from the like inflammation, the dryness, all of those things just from the tube that's in your throat. So no, that was my norm. I don't want you to just assume that it's fine, but if it happens to you, because you should always talk to your doctor, but just wanted to let you know that's something that happened to me and I didn't expect it. And popsicles were the best. That bendy straw, because you're not allowed to lay down, you're in an upright position. Being able to just put it in your mouth and have like ice cold drinks was pretty powerful stuff when you're feeling the way that you may be feeling. The other thing is because you're sitting upright that first night, they tell you it's not great. It's like, it sucks. It's really bad. And I wish that I would have known that you really do not sleep. You are not sleeping, or I was not sleeping anyways. And I wish that I would have just been able to prepare myself so I wasn't kind of worried, like, why aren't I sleeping? Like, I'm going to feel like crap the next day. I learned to just embrace it. Just embrace it. Know you're not going to sleep, and then know the next day you just don't have anything going on. You shouldn't anyways. So you can just relax, I got into some podcasts and things like that. It's really helpful. So that's the other one. For me, that lasted 2-3 days of just not really sleeping. It was pretty challenging. But going back to that first night, the next morning, I got to go to the hospital and have my packing removed. Because of my surgery, for whatever reason, my surgeon put about, I'm not kidding, 3 feet worth of packing in my nose. And so they take it out. It's a weird feeling. I'll admit that. I didn't love it, but it wasn't the worst thing in the world. And it felt a lot better. Like it's a lot of relief when you get that packing out. So that's something to look forward to. And it's funny, I saw someone who was getting his out as well. We had the same surgeon and we were comparing stories of the night before, just validating that it's a struggle. Just know that, but it gets better and it's so worth it. It's so worth it. Okay. So then you continue on. I didn't feel great because I wasn't eating very much and all of the things, like just that first week, whatever. And then after 7 days, I got to go back to my surgeon and I saw that guy again, who also was in the same flow as me. And he walked out and he was like smiling ear to ear because he just had his splints out. So they also put splints in your nose. That come out a week after. And he was so excited about how he felt. And so then I went in there feeling great. And sure enough, they came out. Taking them out didn't hurt me anyways. It was a bit of pressure, but it was like instant relief. They suck out, sorry for this, but like some gunk and blood and things like that out of your sinuses. And it was like elating. I could breathe. I'd never felt so free. It was incredible. So that's pretty much the story. After the fact, this I also didn't realize, like you have to be really careful with your nose. Like it's still pretty tender if I were to really touch it. So you have to just take it easy. Don't hit it on anything. You're not allowed to exercise or do anything. For me, it was 3 weeks after my surgery. And yeah, you just kind of take it easy and it's so awesome. And I would love to hear other people's great stories too, if you have similar ones. And I really hope everyone does. And I guess I should just end with, this again is my story. It's not everyone's. Like, don't take what I'm saying as like this is 100% the way it will be. I think everyone is a little bit different. And maybe yours will be a lot easier than mine, or maybe yours will be more challenging. But just wanted to give you a little bit of information to help you out along the way. Best of luck.